Most people never see Virgo coming. They notice the loud one, the flashy one, the person announcing the dream before it exists, posting the vision before it has weight, talking like success is already theirs. And while everybody is watching that person, Virgo is somewhere in the background, quiet, composed, almost easy to overlook. That is exactly why they get underestimated. Because Virgo is not the kind of ambition you hear first. It is the kind you feel later, when you look up and realize they built something real while everyone else was still talking. They did not need attention to begin. They needed time. They needed space. They needed silence. And once they had that, they did what Virgo always does when they want something badly. They got precise, they got disciplined, and they got relentless. Virgo does not usually chase the image of success. Virgo chases control, mastery, stability, proof. And that is what makes their ambition so dangerous. They are not trying to look impressive for a moment. They are trying to become impossible to ignore for years. That difference changes everything. When most people think about ambition, they imagine confidence, big declarations, visible hunger, constant movement, and the need to be seen winning. Virgo's ambition rarely looks like that. It is quieter, colder, more private. It hides itself inside routines, standards, late nights, self-correction, and the ability to keep going long after the excitement is gone. So people misread them. They think Virgo is hesitant because Virgo does not brag. They think Virgo lacks hunger because Virgo does not announce every goal. They think Virgo is too reserved to be powerful. But Virgo is often one of the most strategic people in the room. They are just not using their energy to convince you of that. They are using it to prepare. That is the first truth most people miss. Virgo's silence is not emptiness. It is construction. It is calculation. It is restraint. While other people burn energy trying to be perceived as successful, Virgo is often protecting their focus so they can actually become successful. And Virgo thinks longer than most people do. They are not naturally drawn to quick wins if those wins are fragile. They are not easily seduced by shortcuts if the shortcut creates weakness later. What they want is something that can hold. Something that works under pressure. Something that survives bad days, competition, setbacks, and time. That is why Virgo can look slower in the beginning. But slower is not the same as lost. Virgo will spend extra time learning what other people skip. They will study the flaw before they celebrate the opportunity. They will ask what could fail before they ask how good it could look. They will prepare for the pressure before the pressure ever arrives. And to someone impatient, that can seem like overthinking. But then life does what life always does. It tests people. That is when the loud confidence starts cracking. That is when half-built plans fall apart. That is when hype runs out, ego gets exposed, and people realize they never built anything strong enough to carry the weight they wanted. And then Virgo rises. Not because they got lucky. Not because they were suddenly blessed by timing. But because they built for this moment before anybody else even thought to. That is one of the biggest differences between Virgo and so many other signs. Other signs may chase the peak. Virgo studies the foundation. Other signs may want the win. Virgo wants the system that keeps producing wins. Other signs may care about being recognized early. Virgo cares about still standing later. And later is where Virgo becomes terrifying. Because later rewards the disciplined. Later rewards the prepared. Later rewards the person who made fewer stupid mistakes. Later rewards the one who did not confuse noise for progress. Virgo knows that. That is why they often keep their plans to themselves. A lot of people feel more motivated when they talk about what they are going to do. Virgo often feels the opposite. The moment they speak too early, something about it feels exposed. Premature. Weak. They do not like putting unfinished things in the hands of public opinion. They do not like inviting people into a process that is still fragile. They do not like being congratulated for something that has not been earned yet. For Virgo, that feels false. And Virgo hates false. They would rather say nothing and make it real than speak too soon and have to explain later. They would rather be private than performative. They would rather carry the pressure alone than let outside voices distort the shape of something they are still trying to perfect. Because once you tell people your plan, they touch it. They put their fear on it, their doubt on it, their jealousy on it, their assumptions on it, their timelines on it. And Virgo knows how dangerous that can be when a vision is still forming. So they protect it. They keep the dream close to the chest. They keep the work invisible. They keep the progress quiet. And that quiet is not weakness. It is insulation. It is how they preserve momentum. Virgo understands something many people learn too late. Not every goal grows stronger in public. Some goals grow stronger in private, where they can develop without being watched, rushed, or contaminated by other people's noise. That is why Virgo often shocks people. Not because they changed overnight, not because they suddenly became ambitious, but because nobody noticed how much was happening behind the scenes. The whole time you thought they were just being calm, they were gathering skill. The whole time you thought they were uncertain, they were refining the plan. The whole time you thought they were standing still, they were eliminating weaknesses. And then one day, the result appears. Clean, solid, real. That is Virgo's favorite kind of power. Not borrowed power, not loud power, not power based on attention. Real power. The kind that comes from being capable. The kind that does not collapse the second conditions get hard. The kind nobody can take from you because it is built into who you are. That is also why Virgo's definition of success is so different from a lot of other signs. For some people, success is mainly about visibility, being admired, being celebrated, being the obvious winner. Virgo may enjoy recognition, but that is rarely the deepest thing they are after. Virgo wants something more practical and, in many ways, more profound. They want to trust themselves. They want to know they can handle life. They want to build a life that functions. They want competence, not just applause. They want standards, not just status. They want peace that was earned, not an image that has to be maintained. To Virgo, success is not only about what the world sees when the lights are on. It is about whether the structure still works when nobody is clapping. Can your life run well? Can your work survive scrutiny? Can your success hold pressure? Can you carry responsibility without falling apart? Can you keep going when motivation is gone? Those questions matter deeply to Virgo. That is why they can sometimes seem unimpressed by things other people chase so desperately. They are not always moved by hype, titles, or surface-level glamour, because they are constantly asking the question beneath the question. Yes, it looks good, but does it work? Yes, it sounds impressive, but is it stable? Yes, people admire it, but can it last? That mindset makes Virgo different. And in the long run, it often makes them stronger than people who build their whole life around appearances. Because appearances are expensive to maintain when there is nothing under them. Virgo would rather spend years becoming excellent than spend one season pretending to be. And here is where the story gets even deeper, because Virgo's strength is not just that they build quietly. It is that they are willing to keep improving even after they have already done well. That is where their real ambition hides. Virgo is not satisfied easily. Not because they are ungrateful, not because they are incapable of joy, but because somewhere inside them is a constant measuring system, always scanning for what could be better, cleaner, smarter, stronger, more efficient, more true. Even when they succeed, part of them is already examining the weak point. Even when they win, part of them is already fixing the flaw in the victory. That can make their life heavy, because the same standard that makes Virgo excellent can also make them hard on themselves. The same awareness that helps them see what others miss can make it difficult for them to rest in what they have already achieved. They may accomplish something extraordinary and still feel like they are behind. They may be admired by others and still be focused on the one thing they have not mastered yet. That is the hidden ache inside Virgo ambition. They rarely give themselves full credit. They rarely relax for long. They rarely stop at good enough if they know it could be better. And yet, that is exactly why they keep evolving. Virgo's secret weapon is not just discipline. It is self-correction. They are one of the few people who can look at themselves honestly, admit what is not working, and go back to refine it without needing a dramatic collapse first. They do not always need life to humiliate them before they change. Often, they have already seen the problem and started adjusting before anyone else even noticed. That is power, because people who can self-correct become very hard to stop. If they fail, they study it. If they fall behind, they reorganize. If they lose momentum, they rebuild it. If something breaks, they do not just panic. They diagnose. That is why Virgo may not win the fastest, but they are often the hardest to replace. Their value deepens over time. Their strength compounds. Their effort compounds. Their wisdom compounds. And while others are trying to protect an image, Virgo is busy increasing actual substance. That is the part people remember too late. Virgo was never trying to dominate the room for 5 minutes. Virgo was trying to become the person the room eventually depends on. The one who sees what others miss. The one who prepares when others posture. The The one who stays steady when things get messy. The one whose success is not decoration, but structure. The one who built so carefully that their life can keep carrying more. So if you have ever wondered why Virgo seems quiet when they are actually one of the most ambitious signs in the zodiac, this is why. They do not worship attention. They worship precision. They do not trust hype. They trust preparation. They do not announce every move. They make moves that speak later. And later is exactly where they shine. Because when time reveals who was serious and who was just loud, Virgo usually has the advantage. When pressure reveals who built on ego and who built on skill, Virgo usually has the advantage. When life stops rewarding performance and starts rewarding stability, depth, and mastery, Virgo usually has the advantage. That is their quiet truth. They do not need to look powerful at the beginning. They just need to keep building until power becomes visible. And once that happens, people finally understand what Virgo knew all along. The most dangerous ambition is not the one that makes the most noise. It is the one that works in silence, sharpens itself in private, survives every test, and arrives so solid that nobody can deny it. If this felt exactly like the Virgo in your life, or exactly like you, hit like, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more deep zodiac stories that actually get beneath the surface.